Well, welcome back. Well, we're on another props to plates mission here, and we're leaving Williamsburg this morning pretty early. Weather looks good, and we're going up to Shannon Airfield just south of Fredericksburg. We understand there's a little cafe up there called the Robin's Nest that's very popular with a lot of locals. We've heard about it, so we're going to go up there and check it out today. I think they got some, what else they got up there too, Dan?
There's apparently a pretty cool museum too, and the Robin's Nest restaurant was named after one of the airplanes that they first had there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we're going to fly over West Point, Virginia, right where the paper mill is. So that's kind of a waypoint, and then I think we'll kind of just follow 95 up to Fredericksburg. Right?
I think that's the flight plan. Like I said, we're going to be VFR all day. The last couple of days have been a little bit rough with the hurricane off the eastern seaboard here for us, but that's all past us now. We're going to get pre-flighted, we're going to get underway, and next stop will be the Robin's Nest in Shannon Airfield. So stay with us. We think we're going to have a lot of fun today and meet some interesting people and see some interesting places.
See you at the Robin's Nest.
Okay, Dan, so we made it to Shannon.
Here we are.
We're getting ready. Behind us, we got the beautiful DC-3, part of the museum.
Yeah,
they got going on here.
Yeah.
So everything went A-OK coming across. Took us a little over an hour to get here, but the Robin's Nest is right behind us. So we're gonna break down, get over there, get some food, talk to some people, and see where it goes from there.
I'm hungry.
Me too. Let's
go.
go. Let's go. So before we get our food, why don't we have Greg tell us a little bit about the museum, what's out there? And so kind of we're here at the Robin's Nest, and again, we've heard about this. I just heard about this by accident. Part of our mission is to get out and just fly mostly locally to see neat little diners and events and stuff. And I came across this, I don't know what I was listening to, and I didn't realize, I hear Shannon all the time because it's on the same frequency as Williamsburg, 122.8. So I always hear Shannon, and I've never been here, but we're sitting here in the Robin's Nest right now, and I think right behind us is museum, and you're a docent for that. But what do they have here that's outside of just the nice diner?
Well, the museum's theme is the golden age of aviation.
Okay.
So we're not talking about anything modern.
Okay.
We're talking about the earliest plane we've got is a 1917 Spad.
Wow. Okay.
And then we go up to 1930s. The DC-3 that's sitting outside kind of is the end of the golden age of aviation, the beginning of the commercial age.
Okay.
And so the planes in there are kind of between those two.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Okay.
That'll be
very, very cool.
Yeah.
And we notice I know the restaurant here is open just Monday through Fridays.
Correct.
Does that align with the museum?
Yes, the museum is open. We're open from 10 to 3. We're actually open 10 to 4, but the last tour, we don't start any tours after 3 o'clock.
Okay. Very neat.
Except for tomorrow. I guess there's a big event here tomorrow, right?
Yeah, there's a family night tomorrow. They let them tie down on the grass strip out here.
Okay.
Or on the edges of it, because the grass strip is actually used for a candy drop.
I saw that too, the candy drop, where they come and they throw candy out of a Super Cub, a couple of passes, and then the kids just run on to the...
Kids and old guys run out and get the candy.
Well, if you can keep up to us kids, I saw a little video on that, and I said, there's no way I'm keeping up with that, but you might be able to do that.
Yeah, but in years past, there's been a lot of T6 Texans that...
And you said you lived here?
I live about a mile south of the airport.
Okay, wow, so that's close.
Yeah, we're right. I'm right in the flight path when people are.
Yeah, it looked, I just heard the name and never connected any of the dots, and then all this came about. So we're kind of excited, and we've been trying to get up here all week, but it's been the weather has been kind of rotten. So we decided to push off, even though we thought we could maybe sneak in. We were looking for more of a sunny day like this, and we didn't hit clouds till we were about 20 miles out.
Okay.
It was blue skies all the way, and these are up high enough we can get in and out of there without any problem. So that's really nice.
But so the museum, a little more about the museum.
Yeah.
Sidney Shannon Jr. started the museum. His father, Sidney Shannon Sr., was involved with Eastern Airlines. He was the first pilot in town in Fredericksburg. I understand he owned the first airplane in Fredericksburg, built the airport. This is the second airport. He built the first one about a mile up closer to town, and then moved it down here. And then, and he was the vice president of Eastern Airlines.
Is that?
And Sidney Jr. then, he started, of course, grew up around airplanes, and was a pilot, and he started collecting airplanes as an homage to his father. And his collection became the museum.
Okay, cool. And the airport was in like, what, did you say this already? Was it like 1950 or something like that, in that time frame?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I don't. The Shannon Airport, 1950s onwards.
There we go.
That's
Probably
about
in
the
that
time
range,
that this
so-
one here. And after Sidney Jr. died, the museum, the airport, his family was not interested in the museum and the airport, so they sold. And the museum actually went down to Richmond. At the time there was a museum right by Byrd Field.
Yeah.
And the SR-71 was parked outside.
Told you that was an SR-7.
Yeah. Well, it may have been an A7.
You've just validated
but I
his
think it's
rumor, and now before he was questionable, but now you've given him
So,
energy.
well, we don't want to get
and that was part of the
about that.
Virginia. Some branch of the Virginia museums. I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
But so the museum actually, the planes in this museum were moved down there, and they were in the building down there. And then that museum, Virginia wanted to get out of that.
Yeah.
And that was about the same time the current owner of the airport here bought it. And they asked him if he wanted the planes back. He said yes. So they were moved back. And the SR-71 was dismantled and taken to the train station, Main Street Station
Is
in
that
Richmond.
in downtown Richmond?
Yeah, I haven't seen it there, but my understanding is it's in that old
How
train
come you didn't
station.
know that data point?
I don't know. I told them there used to be an
Yeah.
SR-71.
We were talking last night and doing some research, and they talked about needing a docent. So we were talking this morning. How are we going to find
How
that?
do you get a docent?
And
Did you
so,
have to call
so we
ahead?
just got our own. We got a special treatment here at the Old Fly Guy Network.
And as far as the museum is concerned, there's a group of us that volunteer as docents, and we got a tour. Okay, I'm going to have to go and take
Go
the
ahead.
tour,
We're going to have something
but
to
when
eat,
you're
and
done-
we'll get up. This
We'll
is
sing it
perfect.
all out,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
What luck to run into Greg
Yeah.
and give us he's telling us we're going to get a special tour.
Not only it's free, I'll
Well,
pay. I'm going to pay.
We didn't say free, he just said special.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my Cuban sandwich too.
I
man.
got
You
it.
had the
I got
Cuban
it.
breakfast.
I got the Cuban breakfast sandwich. This is the best hand-spun milkshake you'll ever have right here.
This is really good. I had the Cuban and you had the Cuban breakfast.
Really good.
Really good.
Really.
Well worth the trip. Well worth the trip.
Well worth the trip. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 This is a cool place, so you'll have to put it on your schedule. Anyone that's near here or flying in.
Okay, so this is a 1917 Spad. Spad was a French-designed, French-built airplane, the best plane the Allies of World War I, French, British, and the Americans had. Not necessarily better than the German planes, but it had characteristics that allowed it to keep its own with the German planes.
Is that?
Primarily the structure of the wings. The ribs on the wings are close enough together. They have the strength that they're able to convert convert altitude to airspeed and outmaneuver the German planes without the wings coming off.
Oh, yeah, without the wings coming off, that's not
That's
good if the
that's
wings
always
come
a
off.
good
Yeah,
thing to have
right,
them stay on.
Right. Oh, cool.
So they weren't necessarily faster or more maneuverable than the German planes, but that feature allowed them to do it.
And this isn't a reproduction.
This is not a reproduction. It is an original Spad. This particular plane here was used in the filming of the first movie to win an Academy Award for Best Picture. It's a movie entitled Wings. It was a romance movie about World War I pilots. So here we've got a 1918 standard E1 advanced trainer. The Spad was French designed, French built. The standard is American designed, American built, and not nearly the airplane the Spad is. And one of the main reasons has to do with the ribs we talked about on the Spad,
Right.
that were 4 or 5 inches apart. This one, if you look, the Spad, the ribs are about a foot apart. So the wings don't have the strength.
To maneuver and do all the
Right,
things you talked
right.
about. And this was truly just for training then, and they trained.
Well, my understanding is it was designed as a pursuit plane or a fighter plane,
Okay.
but it was never used in that manner. It was used as a trainer in the United States. Never saw action in Europe during the war.
Okay.
The thing about the rotary engine versus a radial engine, the engine's mounted to the plane and the cylinders go around and the propeller goes around.
Right.
A rotary engine, the crankshaft is mounted to the plane, and so when the engine's running, the entire engine is spinning
Okay.
around.
I didn't realize that.
And that creates a number of issues for it. One of which it's just adding to the torque of the engine when you're trying to fly it.
Wow.
They also, because of the way it operated, it's a 4-stroke engine, but there's no oil reservoir. So even though it's a 4-stroke engine, it's burning a gas oil mixture, or it's having oil injected into
Okay.
it.
So, Greg, maybe you can talk about the plane and back right from there. Is that
Sure.
good?
The next plane, and this is actually the beginning of the advancement in aviation. By the time we get to this plane, built in 1927, Travel Air 2000, we've started to see aviation and aeronautics being studied in universities and aviation design taken off. No pun intended.
exactly.
Becoming more, advanced. And so in 1927, Travel Air 2000, built by a company started by Walter Beach of Beechcraft, Clyde Cessna of Cessna Aviation, Lloyd Stearman, and
Stearman.
Walter and
All the
Stearman
names of-
Aviation,
Yeah.
and the fourth one was Walter Innes, who owned department stores in Wichita, and he was the main money behind the company. But the big advancement in the Travel Air, it was the first plane that had a welded tubular metal fuselage. So we're out of the wood now, we're into metal tubes, and still fabric covered and everything, but that was the big advancement with that. So this is a 1927 Pitcairn mail wing PA-5. This plane was designed and built to carry the airmail. And that was its intended purpose. You see that it's got lights on the wings. Airmail was almost always carried at night.
Yeah.
So it's got electric lights. Some advancements now we're seeing in this plane. You look at the landing gear, it actually has shock absorbers.
Oh, yeah.
So it's got a suspension. It's got a small generator mounted there by the right landing gear. The generator provides electricity for the lights mounted on the wings, provided lighting for any instruments inside, because again, it's being used mostly at night. The plane as it sits here now has navigation lights on it. I don't believe it originally did. 1927, I don't know whether they were required or not, so I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
But the other big advancement on this, of course, well, if you look, it does have a steerable tail wheel instead of a fixed skid like the other planes. But this plane also has a radial, not a rotary, a radial engine, and as importantly, it has a metal propeller, which was a major advancement in aviation to get away from the wood propellers. But like I said, it was designed for airmail. You mentioned the planes are in good shape. We've got a group of of people here at the museum or the airport, just like the docents in the museum were volunteers. This group of people, we refer to them as the air wing. They're all volunteers, and they're the ones that restore and repair these airplanes.
Greg, what's that little thing in back?
That's a trainer.
That's a Link trainer.
Oh, is that right?
That was the flight simulator of the World War II era.
Yeah,
World War II pilots trained on that.
They trained in that bad boy.
Cool. Yeah.
I've seen
And it was built, the Link part of it, Mr. Link, his family owned a company that made organs,
Made
organs,
organs.
and
Oh,
they used bellows to power the organs.
Yeah.
And the bellows
Would
are what allow that to move and stuff. So.
I've seen pictures, never seen
Yeah.
one.
Okay, so this is a 1936 Vultee V1AD Special. And this is, as you mentioned earlier, this is one of a kind. It's the only one known to exist in the world today. This particular airplane was originally owned by William Randolph Hearst. It was his executive plane. It had leather upholstery inside. It had a lavatory in it. And as you can see, it's vastly different from every other plane in here. This plane is all metal construction, metal skin. It's got antennas on it. It's got radios and communication. It's got retractable landing gear. Everything on it's metal, except that the control surfaces on the ailerons and elevators are still fabric covered.
Wow.
Even the DC-3 outside has fabric covered.
Does it?
Control
I
surfaces.
didn't know that. Yeah, I can't see it from this angle. But
No.
yeah, that looks like it was a luxury
This was-
airplane in its time.
Right. The Vultee was designed to be a commercial passenger plane for American Airlines. But about the same time this was being produced, the CAA came out and said, in order for a plane to be used to carry passengers on regularly scheduled trips, it has to have 2 pilots and 2 engines. The 2 pilot was not an issue. It's got that. Obviously, the 2 engines.
That's
was.
a great point. How
So
many-
almost as soon as it was coming off the production line, it was obsolete for its intended purpose. They were still used. I'm sure they were used for charter planes and executive airplanes,
Just
like
like
Mr.
that.
Hearst used it and stuff.
know
The
about
Curtiss Robin, and as you mentioned, the Robin has also been restored here at the airport, and the Robin's nest, the cafe you had lunch in,
Yeah.
used to be a maintenance hangar. And so our Curtiss Robin here was restored in the Robin's nest, in what is now the Robin's Nest
Oh,
restaurant.
yeah.
The Robin, you see here, general aviation airplane built in this 1929 time frame. Couple of stories about the Robin in general. Not this Robin, but plane just like it. First off, in 1935, a pair of brothers set an endurance record in a Robin. They flew it and remained aloft for 27 days and 10 hours.
Wow.
During that time, obviously, they had to have a way of refueling it, giving them food, water, whatever else. And they also had built a catwalk from the cabin up alongside the fuselage up to the engine so that they could get out of the plane, walk on that catwalk up to the engine, and take care of some kind of routine maintenance.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it meant adding oil to it occasionally. I've heard at one point that they changed a spark plug. To me, and we've got a picture of one of the brothers standing on that catwalk, but I just can't imagine when I look at the engine and see where the spark plug is on the front of the cylinder and the
Yeah.
space between it and the propeller, how they would have done that.
That'd
but
be pretty
maybe.
spooky, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But they stayed aloft
20
continuously
continuously.
for 27 days.
Right. Now that record has been broken. It's been broken a couple of times. One of the more recent records was out over the Great Salt Lake or the
Yeah.
Salt Flats,
Yeah.
and I saw a picture of that where they were flying above the Salt Flats, and a pickup truck was running along the ground, and they were handing stuff from the pickup truck bed to the pilots in the
that
plane.
Wow.
Couple of quick stories about the Robin. There was a man named Douglas Corrigan who
Wrongway Corrigan?
Wrongway Corrigan. He bought a robin on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Got it flying again. He was an aircraft mechanic. Supposedly he worked on Lindbergh's plane, Spirit of St. Louis, and then he was also a pilot. He found a robin, fixed it up, flew it to from California to New York, requested permission from the CAA to fly across the ocean. They said, Mr. Corrigan, your plane's not good enough. We're not going to give you permission. And there's actually a movie about this too. But one morning he said, okay, I can't fly to across the ocean, but I can fly it back to California, right? They said, sure, you don't need our permission. So one morning he hopped in his plane, took off. Instead of turning left to go to California, he turned right and headed across the ocean. The next time they saw him, man walked up to his plane and he said, hi, my name's Douglas Corrigan. Where am I? And they said, Mr. Corrigan, you're in Dublin, Ireland. And he became forever known as Wrongway Corrigan. He could never admit he had done it deliberately. If he had, he would have most likely had his license revoked.
Okay.
As it was, his license was suspended for 15 days.
So anyway, we've made it to the Robin's Nest Cafe, had a great time here, got a chance to see the museum, got a chance to see the crowds. This place was the Rockin' Robin, I think, here on a Friday lunch session. So we had a great time. We're looking forward to putting all this together, the museum, the people, the flights coming through. We're going to start wrapping up here and get our way back to Williamsburg this afternoon and call it good. So stick with us, more to come. Okay, so we're finishing up at the Robin's Nest. There's the sign, Robin's Nest here, just south of Fredericksburg, and has been an absolute enjoyable trip. We got to meet, we had our own special docent, right?
Yep.
And he took us around, and it
very
was
knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable, great trip. So we're getting ready to pre-flight and get back. Any other final thoughts that you want to talk about here at the Robin's Nest?
Well, you ought to keep in mind that the Shannon Air Museum is really cool if you come to visit, and it's $18 unless you're an old guy, and then you get 5% discount. But it's a nonprofit too, so you may want to look them up and give them a little donation, because it's a very cool golden age of flight museum. So from kind of the beginning to the 50s or so, and it's really very nice. Very cool.
Very good. Very enjoyable. So we're going to go pre-flight, and we'll pick you up at the other end when we get back to Williamsburg. Well, we made it. We're back from, where did we go? Shannon?
Yeah,
We went to Shannon and we ate lunch where? Robin's Nest?
Robin's Nest.
And Robin's Nest. And you can tell my right seat is getting a little bit wore out. He's had enough for the day. We had a great trip. Look forward to sharing it with you. And we brought back some onion rings for the maintenance staff because they take care of the planes.
Williamsburg Airport.
Right, they make it safe for us. So
Yeah.
we had a great time again. As always, subscribe, give us a like, follow us. We look forward to sharing more
Give us
props
thumbs
and
up.
plates with you. And had a great time today. So see you next time.
Thanks.